making another video. This time we're going to be talking about actually the top 5 mods that I believe are the best mods for any base model RSX or a Type S like mine. For those of you who don't know, my RSX is a Type S. So I'm going to be going over the top 5 mods, in my opinion, of course, that best adds either power, performance, or handling to the RSX platform, the DC5 platform. So let's get started. First off, I am a firm believer that a good exhaust on any RSX will do you 2 favors. It'll make it sound better, and it'll also give you some power. Now, please don't go buying eBay fart can exhaust systems. They just suck. I would recommend you to stay on good aftermarket brands such as I'd say Apexi, like mine, Vibrant. Skunk 2 also makes very good quality exhaust systems. Now, most people usually buy a catback. Some people, like me, rather go make it custom. My RSX has custom 3-inch exhaust all the way from the headers to the back. I have DC Sports 4-to-1 ceramic coated headers, which are 2.5-inch thick, and my exhaust is 3 inches. Then my muffler is a Vibrant muffler. I keep forgetting the model of my muffler, but I'm one of those people that love Vibrant as brand. I love the brand. I love the products. I love what they stand for. I also have a magnet flow resonator, so it just fine-tunes the sound. But getting back on topic, the first mod I would recommend to anybody who's just starting on modding his or her RSX and wants a bit more power, a bit more fun, I definitely would say go ahead and get a 2.5-inch catback or 2.5-inch custom exhaust, and any type of well recognized muffler, because don't get that eBay stuff, man. It really sounds like a fart can, and you're gonna be that stereotypical Honda guy that all the people hate. So that's the first one. Second of all, I would definitely say a header. So headers are actually a bit more I haven't dabbled too much in the header department. I've had the same headers since I have the car. I have not swapped out the headers. I know that my headers are not the best headers, which are DC Sports. The Skunk 2 Alpha header series is an awesome header. So if you're looking to buy a header for your car, for your RSX, you could look into that. But I believe that another very good mod for the RSXs in general are headers. So first exhaust, then headers, definitely a plus. Third mod, I probably say, as this is I'm just talking about basic bolt-ons. Many people go with an intake. I'd say, yeah, go with an intake as a third reasonable mod. RSXs respond very good with an intake, headers, and exhaust system. They gain close to 15-20 wheel horsepower without tuning, which is a very good number. But be careful with colder intakes. For those of you that don't know, I actually hydro-locked my car because of a colder intake. I had the engine 3-inch colder intake for the RSX. I ended up cutting it. If you haven't seen my video on it, I actually went ahead and cut it and made it a short ram, just for that extra security, since when I hydro-locked the car, I had to replace a whole engine rod, bearings, and it was just a big pain in the butt, because it's my daily driver, and I was without a car for around 4 months. So be very careful when considering colder intakes. Definitely also consider short rams, even though they don't add that much power. But those people that say, well, you could have gotten the hydro shield. I had the hydro shield when I actually hydro locked the car. My main problem was that I wasn't rocking a fender liner. So I was running my car without a fender liner. It was raining really good, and yeah, it happened. But don't get too caught up on the whole hydro shield thing. That thing, I mean, it kind of works, but it doesn't work 100%. It doesn't make it 100% effective. But you know, it doesn't mean that you can't run a cold air intake. Many people do. I ran the cold air intake for almost 2.5 years before I hydro locked my car. So it's not that it's not safe, but if you want to be extra safe, you know, just be careful around cold air intakes. In reality, some people believe cold air intakes don't give you that much power. I know that when I previously was running Password JDM short ram. That's the one they call the whale penis, because it's complete carbon fiber and it has this weird shape to it. But when I swapped that intake out for when I swapped that intake out for my cold air intake, I saw immediate gains in power. So I mean, just resuming, as a third option for a mod on your RSX, definitely get an intake of some sort. Many people also run the intake through their headlight. They just remove the long beams, and well, just one for the driver's side one, I think it is. Yeah, they remove the driver's side high beam, and they run the cold air intake through, well, headlight intake through there. Apparently that's the one that gives the RSXs the most power. I have a few friends that are actually running that setup, and they produce more power than when they had the cold air intake. So yeah, as a fourth thing, you know, I'm really a firm believer in coilovers. I bought almost 2 years ago now some Tane coilovers. I bought the street basis Tane coilovers. I've been loving them. They're a bit stiffer than the stock suspension, but you definitely feel the upgrade and ride quality, in the sense of, you know, when you're taking turns, the car feels much more planted. You don't got as much body roll. Keep in mind that I have no other suspension components, and I really noticed a difference once I bought the Tane coilovers. So the only bad thing about coilovers is that they're very expensive when compared to other mods you could do starting out on your RSX. For example, a good catback system may be around, I don't know, maybe $300 or less. I actually our headers could go run you anywhere from $400, $500. The cold air intake maybe $250 if you buy new. Used, I mean, you could definitely buy used cold air intake, because it's just a tube. It does the work. You don't need it to be new, unless you want it to look really nice and shiny. Maybe cold air intake used one could run you about $100. I paid $100 for mine used. The Tane coilovers, maybe $1,000. Mine were $1,000. They were 900 and something. That's one of the most expensive ones on the list. But yeah, and finally, the fifth thing I definitely recommend to get for your RSX base model or Type S is any type of ECU, like not the stock one, be it K-tuner, which is the one I'm running, or be it the most famous one, that is, well, the K-Pro, which is a bit more expensive for the 2005 2006 model RSXs, because you have to run a 2002 to 04 model ECU. I could do a whole other video on how K-tuner works for different model years on the RSXs. But as a general rule, one of the best mods you could do to your RSX, if you're looking for performance, obviously, is an ECU. I mean, once I had bought an ECU and I tuned it, obviously, because you could run a base map from Hondata, or you could run a base map from K-tuner, depending on your mods, because they have a list. But once you tune your car with an aftermarket ECU, once you have the cold air intake, the headers, the exhaust, you're gonna see your hard work and your, you know, hard spent money, and you're gonna see how it all makes sense when you make the power. Biggest example I can tell you guys is when I bought my car, it only had 2.5-inch exhaust. It had the headers I still have, and the short ram intake that I told you guys about, the Pastor JDM carbon fiber one. And I made on a Jet dyno 195 wheel horsepower. I don't remember the torque, but I remember the number of my horsepower. It was 195, and I was happy with it. Sure. Then I bought an RBC manifold. I was still running a stock throttle body. The only changes I made was I took out the exhaust. I made a 3-inch custom exhaust. I added the vibrant muffler, and what else? I changed the fuel rail, but that doesn't add the horsepower. And of course, I built the head. That also doesn't add horsepower, but since I bought the Skunk 2 Ultra Street intake manifold, which is a high revving manifold in the sense that it gets more air when you're in higher RPMs, so it overall gets more power once you start going beyond the 8,500 RPM range. So once I installed all those parts, I made the 227 wheel horsepower. I first made 222 with the RBC actually, and then when I swapped to the Skunk 2 Ultra Street manifold, I made the 227. But I also added a 70mm throttle body, which I did not have when I had the RBC manifold. But yeah, so if you want to calculate 227 wheel horsepower to crank, my car has around 250, maybe 255 crank horsepower. So if you look at that, of course I may have a bit more money into my engine since I have the built head and whatnot, and the Ultra Street manifold, it was $500. But if you have a general outline for the best mods on your RSX, once again, I'd say definitely intake, exhaust, headers, coilovers, and definitely an ECU. If you do this, basic bolt-ons to your RSX, if you want to give your RSX that extra performance, this is what you want to do to your car. So that's it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to go ahead and just talk with you guys a bit about what you could do to your car if you have an RSX, and this could apply to Civics, older Integras, overall any Honda, I believe, also some other types of cars, but just trying to stick to what I know, which is Honda. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave a like, comment any questions you may have, or anything you might want to tell me. I always read the comments. I read all of the comments, and I mostly respond to all of them. So I'll see you guys later. Once again, thank you guys for watching.